98%. That is the number sitting on the table right now. If Arsenal win on Sunday, 98% chance of being Premier League champions. And yet Saka is in a race against time with an Achilles that could end his entire season if it goes wrong. Odegaard is describing himself as desperate to return, which tells you everything about how fine the margin is. Rice played through illness in midweek. Zubimendi has started 44 games. 44. This squad is running on empty and they have to go to the Etihad, not a corner of the Etihad. The Etihad, Manchester City at home, title on the line. A draw keeps Arsenal 89% likely to win this league. A defeat, that number crashes to 69, 31% gone, just like that. Declan Rice said it himself this week. No beating around the bush. They have been sloppy. They have been giving the ball away. The basics have not been good enough. But he also said this: we are going to Manchester to win. Sunday, April 19th, kickoff 16:30. This is the moment. Let me tell you what is truly riding on this game. The Opta supercomputer has run the numbers. If Arsenal win on Sunday, their Premier League title probability rises to 98%. 98. That is as close to certainty as football mathematics will ever give you. If it finishes as a draw, Arsenal's chances sit at 89%. Still dominant, still very much in their hands. But here is the part that should make every Arsenal fan uncomfortable. If Manchester City win on Sunday, Arsenal's title probability drops to 69%. That means a full 31% chance that this season ends without a trophy. And given Arsenal's recent form, with a heavy Carabao Cup final defeat to City, an FA Cup elimination against Southampton and a shocking Premier League loss to Bournemouth, that 31% cannot be dismissed. If you want deeper analysis on stories like this, stories that actually matter to the future of this football club, hit that subscribe button right now. I break down every angle so you get the full picture, not just the headlines. Now, let us get into it. The head-to-head record, the last 5 meetings between Arsenal and Manchester City under Mikel Arteta tell a compelling story. The record reads as follows. In 2023-24, Arsenal won 1-0 at home against City. Later that same season, the reverse fixture ended 0-0. Moving into 2024-25, City and Arsenal drew 2 goals apiece. Then Arsenal delivered a stunning 5-1 victory over City. And the most recent encounter in 2025-26 ended 1-1. Now here is what this really means. Those 5 results tell you that Arsenal under Arteta are not afraid of Manchester City. They do not collapse in the presence of this opponent. Across 5 meetings, Arsenal have 1 win, 3 draws, and the 5-1 result, which was nothing short of a statement performance. Manchester City have not beaten Arsenal in their last 5 encounters. That is a fact. And that psychological edge matters enormously heading into Sunday. City's players know it. Pep Guardiola knows it. Arsenal have figured something out against this opponent that other clubs have not. The challenge for Sunday is whether they can replicate that form despite everything that is currently working against them. The match officials. The referee confirmed for Sunday's fixture is Anthony Taylor. His assistant referees are Gary Beswick and Ian Hussin. The 4th official is Paul Tierney. John Brooks will serve as the VAR official, with Stuart Burt as assistant VAR. Let me put this in plain terms for you. Anthony Taylor is one of the Premier League's most experienced officials. His appointment to a fixture of this magnitude is not surprising. However, the presence of Paul Tierney as 4th official will not go unnoticed by Arsenal supporters, given the history of controversy surrounding certain decisions in high-profile matches. VAR official John Brooks will play a significant role if any marginal calls arise. In a game this tight, this tense and this important, refereeing decisions could be decisive. Arsenal will need to be disciplined, avoid unnecessary fouls in dangerous areas and ensure they do not give Anthony Taylor difficult decisions to make. Arsenal's injury situation. This is the section that has dominated the pre-match conversation, and rightly so, because the injury list heading into Sunday is not a minor inconvenience. It is a significant tactical challenge for Mikel Arteta. Let me go through every player individually. Noni Madueke. The early information after the Sporting match suggested Madueke had picked up a knee injury with an unknown return date. That was the initial concern. However, more recent updates have been far more encouraging. The early diagnosis now indicates that Madueke avoided serious damage and is instead dealing with what is described as a dead leg. Arsenal's medical staff are monitoring him closely over the coming days, but the club is optimistic he will be fit to face Manchester City on Sunday. Here is how I see this. The shift from possible knee injury to dead leg is a significant and welcome development. Madueke has been an important attacking option for Arsenal this season, and his availability would give Arteta more options in the wide areas. A dead leg, while painful, is typically a short recovery situation. The optimism coming out of the club on this feels genuine. Bukayo Saka. This one is the most complex and the most worrying. Saka is described as managing an Achilles issue. One account suggested he could return around April 19th, which is Sunday. However, a more detailed update indicates that Saka is facing what is described as an uphill battle to be involved. He is thought to be suffering from Achilles tendinopathy, and here is the critical detail. If his recovery is rushed, there is a genuine risk that he could be ruled out for the remainder of the season entirely. Here is what you really need to understand. This is a decision that goes beyond Sunday. If Arsenal push Saka back into action before he is truly ready and he breaks down completely, they lose him not just for the City game, but potentially for the run-in and the Champions League too. Arteta has to weigh a possible contribution on Sunday against the risk of losing his most important attacking player for everything that follows. It is an enormously difficult call. The sensible decision is to protect Saka unless the medical team are genuinely confident in his fitness. The heart says play him, the head says be careful. Martin Odegaard. The Arsenal captain picked up a knee issue in the Sporting match. The update from Odegaard himself is reassuring. He described the injury as minor and stated that he is desperate to return as quickly as possible because this is the crucial period of the season in both the Premier League and the Champions League. The expectation is that Odegaard will be fit for Sunday. Let me give you my honest take on this. Odegaard's desire to play is understandable and admirable. He is a competitor and a leader, but the word desperate in his own quote is worth noting. It tells you this is not a player who is completely fine. There is something there. Arsenal's medical team will have the final say, and as long as they clear him fully, his presence in the team would be transformative. The tactical section I will analyse later explains in detail just how important Odegaard could be to Arsenal's approach on Sunday, and I will come back to that. Riccardo Calafiori. Sources close to the player have indicated he has a chance of returning from injury against Manchester City. He has been managed carefully due to fitness concerns, and the expectation is that he is likely available for Sunday. Here is my take on what is really going on. Calafiori's return would give Arteta defensive options and flexibility in his back line. Given the tactical demands of facing City's attacking movements, having Calafiori available adds depth and versatility that Arsenal have lacked recently. Timber missed recent matches but refused to rule himself out ahead of the Etihad trip. When asked about Sunday's availability, Timber told journalists in the mixed zone simply, "I cannot say, but you will see on Sunday." Let me break this down for you. That quote is deliberate. Timber is not saying he is out. He is not saying he is fully fit. He is leaving the door open. The fact that Arsenal have not definitively ruled him out suggests there is a realistic chance he travels to Manchester. His return would be significant given his defensive quality and his ability to operate intelligently in a high defensive line. Mikel Merino. The news on Merino is the worst of the injury updates. He is recovering from surgery and is likely out for the remainder of the season. Here is the part most people are missing. Losing Merino for the season is a blow Arsenal have had to absorb quietly. He was brought in to add quality and depth to the midfield, and his absence has placed enormous physical demands on Declan Rice and Martin Zubimendi in particular. You cannot separate the fatigue issue from the Merino absence. He was supposed to provide cover. He has not been able to. The fatigue and rotation crisis. This brings me to one of the most important conversations happening around this Arsenal squad right now. The minutes played data across all competitions in 2025 to 26 tells a stark story. Martin Zubimendi has started 44 games and accumulated 3,841 minutes. That is the second highest total in the entire Premier League. Declan Rice has started 41 games and played 3,732 minutes. That is fourth highest across all Premier League players. The squad rotation chart tells an even clearer story. Zubimendi has played in 79% of Arsenal's available minutes across all competitions. Declan Rice, 77%. Jurrien Timber, 68%. Martin Odegaard, unavailable through injury, but when fit has been similarly overused. David Raya, 80%. William Saliba, 72%. Gabriel Magalhaes, 70%. The question being raised is simply this: are Arsenal paying the price for not rotating enough earlier in the campaign? Players like Rice, Zubimendi and Timber have barely had a rest all season, and now at the most demanding point of the campaign, they are being asked to perform at the highest level with accumulated fatigue in their legs. Let me walk you through this step by step. When you look at those numbers, 77 and 79% of available minutes for your two most important midfielders, you are looking at a squad that has been run hard all season. Mikel Merino's injury made rotation in midfield almost impossible. With only Rice and Zubimendi capable of playing that defensive midfield role reliably, Arteta had limited options, but the fixed evidence suggests that the decision not to rotate more aggressively in the earlier rounds of domestic cups and in lower stakes league fixtures has left the squad physically compromised at exactly the wrong time. Sunday will be a test not just of quality but of physical resilience. What the players are saying. Declan Rice has been the voice of the Arsenal dressing room this week, and his messages have been consistent, clear and confident. After the Sporting match, Rice revealed he had been battling illness for 2 days. He was not at 100% during that game. He was in bed and unwell, but he pushed himself to play because he refused to miss a Champions League quarter-final. His reasoning was that with Odegaard, Saka and Timber all unavailable or limited, he felt a responsibility to be there for the team regardless of his own condition. Rice on the City trip was equally direct. He said, and I want to convey this as accurately as possible, that there is no beating around the bush. Arsenal have to perform better than they did against Bournemouth and against Sporting. He acknowledged that the team has been making too many errors recently and that the basics, the 5 and 10-yard passes, have been given away too sloppily. He emphasised composure on the ball, taking more touches, relaxing under pressure and not feeling like every pass is a crisis. He called the Etihad the ultimate test and described it as exactly why they play the game. Separately, Rice stated openly and with conviction that Arsenal are going to Manchester to win, not to survive, not to grind out a draw, to win, to make a statement. He confirmed the squad has spoken as a group and know what is required. Now here is what this really means. The tone from Rice this week has been exactly what you want from a leader. Honest about the problems, accountable about the performances, but absolutely clear about the intention. The acknowledgement that Arsenal have been sloppy and error-prone recently shows self-awareness. The declaration that they are going to win shows belief. What matters on Sunday is whether that belief translates into execution, the tactical picture, what needs to happen. Now, let me walk you through this step by step because this is where things get genuinely fascinating. The situation with Martin Zubimendi is a critical decision point for Arteta. Zubimendi has been the regular holder in Arsenal's midfield all season, but in recent weeks he has been off form. He has been caught in possession in Europe. He has been robbed in midfield. And crucially, his nature as a player who operates mainly facing forward, what you might call a 180-degree player rather than a 360-degree player, is creating problems when Arsenal try to build from the back. He is not comfortable receiving the ball on the half-turn and driving forward. And that discomfort is costing Arsenal when they try to play out under pressure. Manchester City, when out of possession, operate in a 4-2-4 shape. They press high and hard. A midfielder who is reluctant to receive on the half-turn and move forward is exactly the type of player that press is designed to exploit. The goalkeeper plays into Zubimendi, and Zubimendi's unwillingness to turn and progress the ball is what is breaking down Arsenal's build-up phase. The proposed solution is compelling. If Odegaard is fit, Arsenal could drop Zubimendi and bring Odegaard into a left-sided midfield role alongside Declan Rice, with Kai Havertz or Eberechi Eze operating as the 10 behind the attack. When building out from the back, Odegaard could drop into the left of a back three, similar to how Vitinha has operated for Paris Saint-Germain this season. This would allow the left-back to invert into midfield, creating a midfield diamond, and here is where it becomes tactically beautiful. When City press with their 4-man line, Arsenal push the goalkeeper into the defensive structure to create a back four behind Rice and the inverted left-back. Suddenly, Arsenal have 6 players against City's 4 in the defensive and midfield zones. You are outnumbering the press. You are solving the exact problem that has been killing Arsenal's build-up. Here is the part most people are missing. This is not a radical idea. Joshua Kimmich drops into defence during Bayern Munich's build-up phase. Jude Bellingham has done it for Real Madrid. The best teams in Europe use a positionally intelligent player to manipulate the press and create numerical advantages. Odegaard, if fit, could be that player for Arsenal on Sunday. On the other side of the ball, City possess a weapon that Arsenal absolutely must have a plan for. Rayan Cherki. When play moves in one direction, Cherki will press from the striker's position and then peel across to the opposite wing, linking with Jeremy Doku to create overloads. Many modern teams defend man-to-man, and Cherki's free role creates enormous problems for that system. The question is whether Arsenal should assign a specific marker to follow Cherki across the pitch throughout the match. The thinking is that Arsenal should not follow Cherki beyond the halfway line, but the moment he enters the defensive half, he becomes one designated defender's responsibility entirely. This could mean the left-back shadows Cherki, William Saliba holds to Erling Haaland, and Gabriel shifts across to deal with the remaining wide threats. It is a bold plan, but Cherki's ability to drift, link and arrive late in dangerous positions makes a specific tactical solution necessary. Additionally, there is the matter of City's centre-back Abdulkadir Kusanov. The numbers are striking. Kusanov has won only 6 aerial duels all season. That is a success rate of just 33% in the air. If Arsenal are looking for an avenue to beat City's press and gain territory, playing balls over the top to a physical presence, Kai Havertz specifically exploits a known and documented weakness in City's defensive structure. Let me give you my honest take on this. The tactical picture is genuinely intricate. Arteta has several real decisions to make. Does he drop Zubimendi for Odegaard if the captain is fit? Does he assign a specific man to Cherki? Does he instruct his players to target Kusanov aerially? Each of these decisions carries risk and reward, but what this breakdown shows is that Arsenal are not without options. They are not walking into Sunday helpless. With the right shape, the right instructions and the right execution, they have legitimate pathways to victory. What the pundits are saying. The external voices around this fixture have been varied and in some cases contradictory. Gary Neville has backed Arsenal. His position is firm. He is doubling down on Arsenal to win, but his reason for backing them comes with a warning attached. He stated clearly that if this Arsenal team does not win the Premier League or the Champions League this season, they risk being remembered only as nearly men. That is a brutal framing, but it is honest. This squad has been building toward a title for 3 seasons. The margin for historical judgment is narrowing. Jamie Carragher took a different and more critical view. His concern is specific to the attacking department. After watching Arsenal against Sporting, Carragher expressed doubt about whether Arsenal have the elite attacking quality needed to win at the very highest level, particularly in the Champions League. He acknowledged he had previously tipped Arsenal to win the Champions League, but admitted he no longer believes it. His specific concern was that no team wins the Champions League without a genuine star in the front four, and in his assessment, Arsenal do not have one. Rio Ferdinand offered 2 contrasting views on the question of Arteta's future. Ferdinand cautioned Arsenal fans against demanding a managerial change. He reminded supporters of where the club was before Arteta arrived. They were not qualifying for the Champions League consistently. They were not fighting for the Premier League title. Under Arteta, they are regularly finishing second and competing at the highest level in Europe. Ferdinand's message was, be careful what you wish for. But Ferdinand also identified what he sees as Arsenal's biggest problem, and it is not Zubimendi. It is a lack of attacking flair, a lack of willingness to take the shackles off and genuinely go for opponents. He defended Zubimendi against criticism, acknowledging that while the Spaniard has made errors, placing the blame entirely on him misses the deeper issue. David Ornstein weighed in on Arteta's position from a factual standpoint. The situation is that Arsenal want Arteta to continue beyond this season. That is the intention. But there is a clear acknowledgement that if results go badly between now and the summer, there will be very difficult conversations. Ornstein was direct. It would be naive to say there is no world in which Arteta departs if things fall apart. A lot is riding on the weeks ahead. Here is how I see this. The range of views from these prominent voices reflects the genuine uncertainty surrounding Arsenal right now. Neville's belief is rooted in respect for what the squad has built. Carragher's doubt is rooted in what he saw against Sporting. Ferdinand's nuance on both Arteta and Zubimendi shows that this situation cannot be reduced to simple narratives. Ornstein's reporting on Arteta's position tells you that even at board level, this Sunday and the weeks that follow are being watched very carefully. Arsenal's summer transfer plans. One element of the broader picture that adds context to this moment is the transfer conversation. It is now clear that Arsenal are actively planning to bring in an attacker this summer. Names that have been connected with a move to the club include Anthony Gordon, Bradley Barcola and Julian Alvarez. These are players Arsenal have followed for some time. However, there is nothing confirmed or firm in place at this point. These remain players the club has admired, not signed. Let me break this down for you. This transfer intelligence is significant because it confirms what observers have been suggesting for a while. Arsenal recognise that their attacking department needs elite quality. Carragher's criticism about the lack of a star in the front four is not falling on deaf ears at the club. The intention to address that this summer is real. But the important point right now is that those solutions are for the future. Sunday's game must be won with the players currently available. The emotional dimension football is not just tactics and statistics, it is also emotion and belief. And two voices have spoken directly to that dimension this week. Former Arsenal midfielder Jorginho offered advice rooted in his experience of high-pressure football. His message was clear and simple. Forget about the last few years. Thinking about previous near misses only adds pressure. Focus on how strong Arsenal are right now and the position they are currently in. Believe in yourselves. That is a mindset over history message, and it is exactly the right message for a squad that could easily be weighed down by what did not happen in the last 2 or 3 seasons. But the most powerful voice of the week came from Thierry Henry. Arsenal's greatest ever player sent a direct message to the current squad. His words were these: "This is the biggest chance of your life to become an Arsenal legend. I believe in you." Now, here is what this really means. You cannot measure the impact of those words. But when the greatest player in your club's history looks at this moment and calls it the biggest chance of your life, that carries weight in a dressing room. Henry has seen everything in football. He has won it all. He understands what it means to wear that shirt and deliver when it matters most. His belief in this group is not hollow encouragement. It is a genuine call to action. Let me bring everything together for you now. Arsenal go to the Etihad on Sunday with a title probability that is still very much in their favour. They have not lost to Manchester City in 5 consecutive meetings. They have a manager who has shown he understands how to set up against this opponent. They have a leader in Declan Rice who is carrying this team on his back and doing it openly and honestly. They have the potential return of Odegaard, Timber, Calafiori and Madueke, all of whom could contribute to a performance at the Etihad. The challenges are equally real. The squad is physically drained after a long and relentless season with minimal rotation. Saka remains uncertain and rushing him back carries serious risk. Zubimendi's form has been a concern and a tactical decision must be made. The attacking quality question raised by respected voices in the game is not without foundation. The stakes could not be clearer. A win and Arsenal are 98% likely to be Premier League champions. A defeat and the season narrative changes completely. Thierry Henry called it the biggest chance of your life to become an Arsenal legend. Declan Rice said, "We are going to Manchester to win. The Etihad is waiting. Sunday is coming." This is Melissa, Arsenal analyst. Thank you for watching. If you found this breakdown useful, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment below and share this with every Arsenal fan you know. I will be back before kick-off on Sunday with the latest team news and confirmed lineup reaction. Do not miss it. Come on, Arsenal.